As we've seen, Odysseus is one of the great heroes of the ancient world. However, his character undergoes some important changes in the treatments of him by the different authors. As the protagonist in the Odyssey, he's portrayed as a model hero in many aspects. His main quality of cunning or craftiness allows him to overcome a number of obstacles. The Romans had different sensibilities, and Odysseus' tricks offended their sense of honor. In Virgil's Aeneid, the positive Greek picture thus becomes more negative, as Odysseus is seen as dishonest and cruel. This is the picture of him that Dante receives and uses as his point of departure. Far from being a revered hero, as he was for the Greeks, Odysseus is placed among the hardened sinners by Dante, who assigns him to the eighth circle and the eighth Bolgia, reserved for the counselors of fraud. In Canto 26, the pilgrim Dante and his guide see Odysseus and his comrade Diomedes punished by being engulfed together in flames. Most obviously, the two are guilty of their deception with the Trojan horse, the stratagem used to destroy Troy. Moreover, mention is also made of Odysseus' deception of Achilles, whom he induces to come and fight with the Greeks against the Trojans, although he knows that Achilles will die in the conflict. Finally, Odysseus and Diomedes stole the sacred statue of Athena, called the Palladium, from the citadel of Troy. It was believed that so long as the statue remained, Troy would be safe, and so its removal was crucial for the success of the Greeks. Dante's negative treatment of Odysseus is an instructive example of how the different value systems and changing sensibilities lead to different moral evaluations. For the Greeks, there was something admirable about a person who could live by his wits and survive by tricks. But for the Romans, this was considered dishonorable. Now, in the Christian world of Dante, this same behavior is regarded as sinful. Dante also adds a new story to the legend of Odysseus, which does not appear in either Homer or Virgil. He tells of how the hero, after his return to his home, still yearns for further adventure and, as an aging man, embarks on a new journey of discovery. It's on this journey that, in Dante's version, he meets his death at sea. Answering Virgil's query, Odysseus, from the flames, explains that although he had finally arrived back in Ithaca, safe and sound, he still had, quote, the burning wish to know the world and have experience of all man's vices, of all human worth. He exhorts his crew to the undertaking by saying, quote, "You were not born to live like mindless brutes, but to follow paths of excellence and knowledge." To our modern ears, this sounds admirable. This is testimony to the human spirit's eternal drive to learn new things and explore new places. This is a part of the ongoing search for knowledge that so many of the great heroes we have examined have engaged in. Dante's account of Odysseus was the inspiration for the poem by Tennyson, who presents the Greek hero as a symbol for the human impulse towards adventure and learning. But this is a case of our modern sensibilities interfering in the understanding of a text from a different period that has a quite different view of things. Dante's point is not to portray Odysseus as an admirable symbol of human learning and exploration. On the contrary, Odysseus is a shameless deceiver who, with lies, convinces his crews to undertake a superfluous journey that gets them all killed. In the end, they can see Mount Purgatory in the distance, but are then engulfed in a violent storm which sinks their boat, leaving no survivors. Dante's point is not that the search for knowledge is testimony to the greatness of the human spirit. Instead, this is a deception and a lie that Odysseus perpetrates to motivate his hesitant crew. It's an example of the sin of fraudulent counseling for which he's punished. Contrary to the interpretation of Tennyson, we can see here an implicit criticism of the Western value of knowledge that has been an ongoing motif in many of the texts that we've discussed. Dante seems to side with Sophocles in the view that this value is misplaced. While the search for new knowledge might have a certain seductive ring to it, we would be better off just letting things be. If we allow ourselves to be seduced by this call, then we risk ending up losing everything like Oedipus and Odysseus' hapless crew.